This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Hidden at the heart of nearly all spiritual and esoteric traditions lies the powerful teachings of the Mother Mantra. Its initiates have preserved its consciousness-expanding techniques for millennia. Originating in the ancient practice of shamanic yoga, this tradition allows us to perceive the full complexity of reality. It helps us see both the visible and the invisible, moving beyond the consciousness of duality that limits us to only the material world. Operating in this heightened state of non-ordinary consciousness, we can see beyond our subconscious programming and behavior patterns and understand our possibilities and powers. By removing all fear, it allows you to love yourself exactly as you are. In this spiritual and philosophical guide, Initiate Selene Calloni Williams shares the healing practices and spiritual exercises of the Mother Mantra tradition. She explains how these practices bypass the thinking mind to access our higher spiritual consciousness, allowing us to awaken to the dream nature of reality and release us from all fear. She details the exercises and practices of the 4-part Mother Mantra. The first series, which dissolves the constructs of the ego. The second, which invokes ancient spirits and deities for their aid in this endeavor. The third, where we experience a divine androgynous tantric union to transcend sexual identity and spiritually fuse with the divine. And the fourth, where the first 3 rituals are combined to unlock an expanded state of consciousness and a true seeing of the complexity of both the visible and invisible worlds. The author also describes the practice of the Egyptian mantra, a soul-making ceremony that unites the initiate with the Chthonian realms and attracts wealth and abundance, and the mystical marriage mantra, which opens a path to authentic transformation and rebirth. Additionally, Williams presents 5 spiritual rituals, including yogic poses and exercises that can be incorporated into daily life to allow divine communication through the chakras, awaken the mind and body from the aging process, and re-establish the universal balance between humanity and the divine. Valeria Teles interviews Selene Calloni Williams. Selene Calloni Williams, with a degree in psychology and master's in screenwriting, has authored several books and documentaries on psychology, deep ecology, shamanism, yoga, philosophy, and anthropology. A direct student of James Hillman, she studied and practiced Buddhist meditation in the hermitages of the forests of Sri Lanka and is an initiate of shamanic tantric yoga. She is the founder and director of the Imaginal Academy Institute in Switzerland. Here is the interview with Selene Calloni Williams.
In your own words, who is Selene Calloni Williams?
Oh, I like to define myself as a mystic. After many years of shamanic yoga practice, being a psychologist, and having received a lot of benefits from the practice of shamanic yoga, I decided indeed to start using the healing practices and the spiritual exercises known in the Mother Mantra tradition with my patients. The Mother Mantra is the core of shamanic yoga practice. And I immediately received positive feedback. And so I decided to found a school of shamanic yoga in Switzerland. The school is for anyone, and from the beginning, among the students, there have been many psychologists, counselors, life coaches, and many yoga teachers. And these teachers and therapists helped to spread shamanic yoga all over Europe. Yes.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. Thank you. I have a few warm-up questions before we talk about your book or some of the topics in your book, The Mother Mantra, the Ancient Semantic Yoga of Non-Duality. My first warm-up question to you is, what is life?
Oh, life is a soul image. You see, soul is a calling. Soul is calling us to remember love and the primeval order, the primeval harmony. And in order to call us, soul draws images which are events. All our life is a great image drawn, designed by our soul in order to call us back to the primeval order, to love, and in order to help us to melt our attachments and fears, our resistance is to love. This is why the images of our lives have within a poetic, a dramatic, and strong emotional force or energy, because they are intended to help us to melt attachments and fears and resistance to love, you see.
Yeah, very much resonates, yes. What would you say is the opposite of life?
The opposite of life is death, but death is within life. Life and death are simultaneous, like yin and yang. They are together, and so we can't say opposite. We have to say maybe the other face of the same reality. Life and death are two faces of the same reality, as yin and yang. We can say they are in a state of non-duality. To be in a state of non-duality means to be two in one, distinct but not separate, distinct but not separate. In reality, a non-dual state is a trinity state, because the two elements, for instance, life and death, visible and invisible, human and divine, the two elements continuously create something new, giving one to the other, because love is to give oneself to the other. And so the two elements of non-duality always give one to the other, and always they create something new. So in a non-dual state, always we have three elements: two lovers and their creation. So it is a trinity, and this is the natural state in which everything in nature exists: a tree, a butterfly, an eagle. only the present human being is aside from the state of consciousness.
And that's why we have all this work that we must do.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
And life is a beautiful image of the soul through which our soul is calling us back to the Trinity, to the non-dual state of consciousness, which is our lost paradise.
So I love that, this idea, because we are using words, life, death, and love dancing. What is the meaning of freedom to you, Selene?
Freedom is our greatest goal. Because you see, everything is a consequence of freedom. Health is a consequence of freedom. Because health is the freedom to perceive yourself. Through your mind, you can demonstrate everything and the opposite of everything at the same time. So you can, for instance, show that a diet is good, and you can show that this diet, the same diet, is not good. Through mind, you can demonstrate, you can show everything and the opposite of everything at the same time. But if you are free, you can perceive your body, you can perceive your psyche without the filter of social social behaviors, social beliefs. And you can perceive yourself do you know what I mean? In a deeply and true way, way and deep way. And this is freedom. So health is a consequence of freedom. Richness is a consequence of freedom, because true richness is abundance. It's not mere possess. It's not just possessing, you see. Abundance is ability and possibility to be inspired, to be loved, to be creative. And so abundance is possibility to give, is not possess, is not take, is to give. True is to give, is ability to give. And freedom is ability to give. Freedom is love, because love is a choice to give yourself. Is the choice to give yourself. So freedom is love. Freedom is love, freedom is health, freedom is richness. Freedom is our biggest goal, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. 1,000 times. At this time, what do you think is the world's greatest need? And what is your vision for a new reality?
The greatest need of a present human being is overcome fear. Yes, because the present human being has this problem. You see, relationship with panic. Panic is a god. Pan, the great Pan. It was a god. So I think that the present human being has misunderstood nature and freedom and wildness. And this is why the great god Pan has made human being victims. So individuals suffer from panic, and they are victims of events rather than being the creator of their lives. They are victims of events because they feel anxiety and panic and fear. So we have to overcome fear, I think. And the tool to overcome fear is faith. So we have to remember ourselves this power. It is the greatest power with it. And with this power, we came here in this world. Every one of us came here with this power, faith. And this is the greatest power we have. We have to remember it. You see, this world make us always in need. The present human being always feels to be in need of something, even when we eat, we think that we are in need to eat, but it's not true. We are not in need to eat. We are here as we are here to sacralize nature. We have to carry alive, being it a carrot, an apple. We have to carry alive from one side to the other of the great threshold, through visible to the invisible world, consciously. This is our service. This is our mission. Sacralize nature consciously. So we have to accomplish this ritual, eating, just to give something to nature, to accomplish a service, not to take, not just to take something. And we have to understand that when we eat a carrot or an apple or a radish, it is the carrot, the apple, the radish that gives itself to us.
Wow. I'll be asking you questions in the moment about nature, and you talk about nature and beauty and good. So I'll be asking you these questions in a moment. I have a few more warm-up questions, and the next one is about spirituality. Do you see any difference between spirituality and religion?
Oh, yes. Religion is a belief. Spirituality is a feeling, you see. For instance, I talk about faith. In religion, faith is faith in something. But in spirituality, faith is an energy, a force. It's not faith in something, but is faith, dot, finish, just faith, a pure energy, a pure force. Because if you say faith and you add an object, then is you see, is a belief. It's not faith, it's a belief. And religion is a belief. Spirituality is a natural feeling, is the feeling of love, is the need to give yourself for love.
That's a great answer. So this is the end of the warm-up questions, and I'll be asking you questions related to your book and your work. What was the inspiration and intention of writing your book, The Mother Mantra?
Because for my students, you see, here in Switzerland, as I said, I have many students, hundreds of students doing courses. One day I perceived the need to give them something written. And so I wrote this book for them. And I wrote it in Italian, of course. And then Inner Traditions bought the rights of this book, and they have translated it in English, and now sometimes I give courses in English as well, or conferences. I came in US last year for give a lecture in a conference in San Jose and in Seattle, and you see, it's weird because English is not my language, as you can probably easily understand. And so at the beginning, really, I said to myself, oh my God, it's not possible for me to give a lecture in English or courses in English. I can do it in Italian, in French, but English is so weird for me. But as soon as I tried, I felt at ease. And so I said, maybe I have to do it. Maybe it is a calling. Maybe I have to do it. And so I did it.
Yeah, that might go back to what you have been talking about a lot, giving. So just giving ourselves in every way without judgment, without questions, right?
Oh, yes. If you receive a calling, the only possible answer is yes.
True, so true. And that's funny how a lot of times there's a lot of resistance, like you said, too, and that has to do with fear, and that's why healing might be necessary. So my next question is about the reabsorption of reality. What does it mean, and how is it connected to living this free and fulfilled life?
Oh, yes. If you look at main spiritualities, you can easily see that everyone consider this world as an image, a dream, a projection, an apparition. In Buddhism, everything is Maya, Chitta Maya, deceit of our consciousness. In Hinduism exists the same concept, because in Linga Purana is written that existence is a Shiva's dance, and dancing Shiva awakens matter and makes of it pulsating waves. And this is poetry, but it's also science. It reminds us, in fact, the quantum physics, in which matter is seen as waves pulsating in the void. So you see, if everything is an apparition, a dream, a projection, so our mind must deceiving us a lot,
Sure.
because normally people see reality as permanent and objective. So reabsorption of reality means taking every person, object, place, experience we have done or perceived in our life back to their original state, which is image, dream, projection. Reabsorption of reality or withdrawal of projections is a soul making. Bring everything back to their original state, image, dream, projections, you see. And this is done through Mother Mantra.
Yeah, that's my next question. Talk to me about that. What's the tradition and how can we practice the Mother Mantra?
Yes, the tradition of Mother Mantra is the core of a shamanic yoga path. And there are many spiritual exercises and healing practices known in this tradition, but everyone can easily understand and learn. And through these healing practices and spiritual exercises, you can reach the withdrawal of projection, so you can reawaken the ability to perceive everything as a dream, the state of dream as it known in the Mother Mantra tradition, the state of dream. And then you can reach the mystical marriage. What the mystical marriage is the non-dual state of consciousness, when you understand, not through your mind, but through your entire psyche and your entire body, that everything and everyone you are in relation with is the divine. The divine is only partner, only true relation that you can have in this life, because the divine is within every person, is within every experience, is within every object you can experience in your life. Everything is the divine. And when you enter the mystical marriage, you realize that you have to go beyond mental judgment, good and bad, or good and evil, right and wrong, and use your power of inclusiveness, because there is not such a thing like an evil or a bad experience, and such a thing like a beautiful, a good experience. All the experience are divine. All the experience are divine, because all the experience are callings to love. You see?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. So I guess this is the moment to talk about the feminine and the masculine attributes, those energies. And you talk about this perfect balance between them, between the opposites. How do we understand these energies better, and how do we integrate them?
You see, of course, love requires the number two, because you can't love if you are the only one, you see.
Right.
But it is the two in one. It is the two in one, because love is giving oneself to the other continuously. So it is the two in one. And so feminine and masculine are the two elements of love, but they are the two in one. And for instance, if a woman wants to find her soulmate, she has first of all to develop within herself the qualities and the abilities that she's looking for in a man, in a partner. And this implies develop the male that is within you. So only when we are entire, when we are total, we can find the true soulmate that has three components, three aspects. The soulmate is our partner and is also our perfect job, the job that realizes us perfectly in our life, and is also our right spiritual path, the spiritual path fit for us. When we find these three things are partner, our job, the job of our life, our creative job, and our spiritual path, then we have met our soulmate in the three aspects. And this is why we have developed within ourselves all the possibilities, all the abilities that we are looking for in the others, you see.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is something that you teach through the Semantic Yoga.
Yes, of course. I teach to women to enhance their feminine, and through this path, join the masculine within themselves and awaken and remember the masculine energy within themselves. And I teach to men to enhance their masculine energy, and through this find at the end the feminine energy within themselves, to be complete, to be full with themselves, you see.
Talk to me about the concept of good. You speak in your book about good. So, why do we create this concept of good, of something being good?
You see, good is beauty. In an ancestral tradition like tradition of shamanic yoga, good is beauty, because beauty is the ability to give themselves for love. If you look at nature, everything in nature is beautiful. Ugly doesn't exist in nature, because in nature everything gives itself continuously. If you look at a flower is beautiful because it's evanescent, it's impermanent. If you think at a plastic flower, which is not evanescent, it's not beautiful. It's not beautiful as a real flower. So the biggest component of beauty is evanescence, impermanence, because it's the ability to give yourself. Is love, you see. So beauty is love, because it's the sacredness. The sacredness is the ability, the sacredness, the sacred is the ability to give oneself. And this is love. And it appears in this world as beauty. So good in ancestral tradition is beauty, and it has not an opposite. But in the human mind creates the opposite: good, bad, right, and wrong. To have the impression to be in control, to have control, and to have power upon nature. You see, because for instance, if you perceive a sensation in your neck when you wake up in the morning, immediately your mind starts to judge and to analyze. Oh, it's bad, it's pain. I slept in a wrong posture. I have to go to the physiotherapist, or I have to do that. I have to massage. I have to receive a massage. I have to do some yoga. I have to. You see, your mind creates a lot of theories.
Yeah, true.
starting from bad and good. But if you wake up in the morning and you perceive something in your neck and you have the courage, you must be brave. You have the courage to not analyze, not judge, just perceive, just feeling and breathe your sensation. And and make your sensation free from every definitions. Then what do you perceive? You perceive a pure energy, a pure fire, energy, vibration, a force in your neck. If you don't give any definition, it is just a force, a fire, a vibration.
Oh, wow. And that's true.
If, every experience, if you don't judge, is a pure energy. And so when you face the pure experience, when you face the pure energy, then you can talk to it and you can ask, please help me, please help me to see what I can't see. Please open my road. Please show me the way. Then you can start to think. You can start to judge. You can start to analyze. But you have another mind. You will judge. You will analyze with an overmind, with a mind which is in union with faith and love. And so you have a super mind within yourself. You have a super tool. But human beings have difficulties to do that because they experience fear. And so they filter the experiences through their mind because they are frightened. They can't face experiences directly. And Mother Mantra helps you. Mother Mantra, the spiritual practices of Mother Mantra tradition helps you to melt fear and do the direct experience of events.
Without, the obstacle of fear, right?
And judge.
Yeah, I had a question came to mind about the mind. You speak of the mind as this space. So, yeah, that's actually my question. What is the mind?
You see, I tell you a story. Can I tell you a story?
Yes, sure.
This is a well-known story because it's the story of Psyche and love. And Psyche was a beautiful girl, and she was loved by the most beautiful god of Olympus, love, Eros. And so she was very happy because love loved her during the night, and during the span of the day, he gave her everything. She only has a thing she couldn't do: see him, because love told her, I give you everything you want. I love you during the night, but you can't see me. You have to trust me. You can't see me. I love you during the night in the darkness, and you can't see me. You see, this beautiful girl, Psyche, had everything, but one thing: awareness, clarity of vision, awareness. She can have everything, but not awareness. This is why she decided, or love decided, to separate the couple. And this was done through the mind. The mind is Psyche sisters. Psyche sisters one day told to Psyche, but are you sure that the one who loves you in the darkness is a god? How can you be sure of that? Maybe he is a demon. You have to see him. And so one night, Psyche switched on a light and she saw the most beautiful god of Olympus. And she realized her fortune. But at the same time, a drop of wax felt on Love's body, and he woke up, and he realized that Psyche has betrayed him, and he left her. So our mind is that tool that separates us from love. And we have to go beyond. We have to go beyond our mind in order to find love again. And if we find love again, we find freedom and immortality, because love wins death. And through love, we can acquire not only freedom, but also immortality. We have absolutely to find love back. We have to go beyond our mind. We have to go beyond our mind in order to find love again.
Yeah, which means trust. There's a lot of, like you use the word faith, right? Trust.
Exactly. This means trust. Exactly.
You also mentioned in your book a phrase, a very interesting phrase. You said, death is love.
Of course, death is love, because until you don't know how to die and then be born again, you will remain an unhappy wanderer in a dark earth. You must absolutely to learn how to die and then be born again. And you can die in every moment of your life. For instance, when you feel a sensation in your neck, when you wake up in the morning and you feel a sensation in your neck, if you don't judge, if you don't analyze, if you don't say pain, you just breathe and feel your sensation. You enter this sensation, your eye, your sense of eye disappear, because the sensation, even a small, a little sensation like a perception in your neck, should be so strong to melt your sense of eye. If you feel sad, for instance, instead of judge, instead of tell yourself, oh, I am sad for this and for that, I have to do this and that to recover, to overcome my sadness, just stay there, just stay in your sadness, stay in the present moment, stay in your sadness with faith, without fear. Stay in your sadness until you die, until your sense of I die. And then you ask to your sadness, please open my eyes. Please allow me to see what I can't see. Please show me the way. And because the divine is within every event, is within every experience, you receive the answer. And the answer is not words. The answer is events and images, and your life start changing around you. Your world start changing around you, you see, because you receive an answer through events.
Yeah, and that's such an important message or understanding for us, because we tend to try to run from pain and to numb it, to reject.
Our pain, our sufferings, our problems are our greatest richness.
Yeah, the greatest teachers for sure. Yeah, no doubt about that. If we can, if we listen, if we do exactly as you said, which is beautifully said, if we just give ourselves to that moment, yeah, open up to understand what's the message, what's it's trying to tell us and take us. And we already know where it's taken us to love. So, and that goes back to that trust. Yeah.
Yes, because the secret, Valeria, is to melt the sense of I in order to go beyond our mind. So, so if you just give yourself to the experience, if you just give yourself to your present moment, you have not to do any efforts. Effortlessly. If you give yourself to the present moment spontaneously, you are carried beyond your mind, beyond your sense of I, and you find love, you find your lover, you find yourself in the mystical marriage effortlessly.
Yeah, I have to take a deep breath. It's true. So it's interesting. I have a few questions, not too many at this point because of the time. But there's something that you raise in the book. You talk about survival instinct, and that is different from fear, the fear of death.
Yes, survival instinct in nature is an aspect of sacredness, because how can the ability to give oneself sacred if without survival instinct?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fear of death is just an human question. Human beings have fear of death because they don't know what death is. You see, they are attached to the sense of I, which is an illusion. And so they have fear of death. And if you die through fear, you fall down into the unawareness and you forget. But if you die without fear, you can keep your inner eyes open. You can cross the great threshold and stay aware. And so you don't forget. You never forget. This is immortality, the ability to remember, the ability to be aware on this side and on the other side of the great threshold. Be aware in the great cycle, visible, invisible, death, life, visible, invisible, visible, invisible. Being always aware. Because, Valeria, in reality, everything happens now. Everything happens right now.
Yes.
Time is an illusion, doesn't exist. Everything happens now. And being aware means go deep down into the present moment without fear.
Wow. Yeah, that's such a challenging thing to do for most of us because the mind's always dwelling in the past, in future, trying to remember the experiences of this human life here that we have had, and also projecting, trying to get somewhere to some sort of destination. This is a practice, right, Selene? It's something that we have. Do you still practice staying within the present moment, or this is something that you're so aware of, it's so deep within you now that you don't have to practice anymore?
You see, Valeria, it's a decision. We have to choose power or love, control or sacredness, or give oneself. You see, when you choose time, when you choose the past and present, is because you choose power. You want to have control upon images, upon event, and so you want to build theories and analyze events in order to measure them, in order to prevent, in order to govern, to lead events. But if you choose love, you give yourself, and so you can stay aware in the present moment because you have no fear. It is a decision. It's a decision. You have to choose love or power. And so all the spiritual exercises, all the healing practices we can do are intended to enable you, to make you able to take this decision, to be aware, to open your eyes, and to realize that you have to take this decision. And this decision is in every event of your life, in every breath, in every moment. You have to take this decision. You can't take this decision once for all, forever, once forever. You have to take this decision in every moment, every event, in every breath. So, spiritual practices and exercises are useful to give you the awareness and the courage to take this decision in every moment of your life.
I love that. I have to say that word love again. Yeah. That makes so much sense to the mind that is trying to live, to be integrated. That's interesting the way you call it, overmind.
Overmind. I like to put overmind. And overmind is a mind with a heart, with love and faith together. The ability to think, the ability to love, the ability to have faith, to trust, all together makes an overmind. An overmind. Valeria, we really need to develop an overmind because only through this mind we can save nature, the wildlife, and this planet. We can't save nature using the same tool through which we have destroyed it, or by which we have destroyed it. We have to change the tool of the tool, and the tool of the tool is our mind, our thinking method. So we have to change our thinking method. We have to do a revolution of consciousness in order to save our planet and ourselves.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Yes, and yes, Selene. Yes. Would you like to add anything before I ask you my final questions?
I just want to say that I feel thankful because you give to many people the opportunity to express very spiritual feelings, spiritual. You see, spirituality is a huge tool through the present human being. And unfortunately, people who are spiritual don't have power in this society. People who knows don't have power because they are interested only in searching for the truth. And people who have the power don't know. Yes, there is a knowledge of the power, but it's a technical knowledge, it's a strategical knowledge, it's not a true knowledge. In a desacralized society, as the present one, people who knows don't have power, and people who have power don't know.
True.
So we have
So
to
true.
overcome. We have absolutely to overcome this problem, this issue.
Yes. Yes, yes, I agree.
People who knows have to try to do something. Have to try to inspire others and to do something in order to change things, in order to activate the revolution of consciousness in name of the soul, in name of the nature. You see, you have to be rebels, but because rebellion, yes, of course, rebellion is an aspect of love.
That's true. It's one of the things that I talk about a lot, and the question I raise is about unconditional self-love, because I think that it can revolutionize everything. Once you have that within you, then you go for it. You have the confidence of the overmind that you call it.
Yes, we have to pay attention. Meditation as not to become opium. Opium, you see, opium of consumerism, opium of capitalism. We have not to use meditation and spiritual path as tools to sleep better, but awaken ourselves, you see.
Thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for your wisdom and your presence. It was very much felt here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Valeria. It was a pleasure.
Where can we find more information about you, your books, products, services, and future projects?
On my website, selenecalloniwilliams.com, or simply scw.academy, my website, on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, always Selene Calloni Williams, on my Instagram. You can find a lot of information in English as well, a lot of videos. And if you subscribe the free membership through my website, you can receive a lot of meditations and videos in English as well, for free, of course, because here in Switzerland we do a lot for free, because we think that we have really to help the spiritual revolution to succeed.
Thank you so much again, Selene, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Valeria.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Selene Calloni Williams, please visit her website, selenecalloniwilliams.com/en.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. I want to thank the Patreon members, Lawrence McGrath, Mark Basden, Terry Clayton, and Aidan Vickrock. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.